And then, we come back from that. Cole updates us on Cena's condition. He says Cena has more eye damage than originally thought, which makes me really believe that eye is going to be a prominent factor in his matchup at Fastlane against Rusev for the title. But we'll have to wait and see on that. And then after that, we get the Usos versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd in a non-title match. This is a fun match. I enjoyed the back and forth. I'm thinking Natalya is probably heel now because they recapped when her and Tyson and I guess Jimmy and Naomi were at dinner, and then that whole brawl broke out, and then Natalya's like, I tried to do something nice, but you and Jimmy ruined everything. Oh, God, Natalya, finally, I can legitimately hate you and not feel bad about it.
I know, right? It feels so good that she's finally an actual heel.
I know. It's wonderful. And so good back and forth, but ultimately Team Uppercats gets the win because I think it was Jimmy Uso was going to go for a splash on Kidd, but Cesaro threw Jey Uso in the ring to kind of get the referee's attention to say, hey, you can't be in here. And then he pushed Jimmy off the top rope, and then Tyson got the pin. And so, yeah, Team Uppercats win. Now they certainly have to be the number one contenders because, in this day and age, the only way you earn contendership is when you beat the actual champions in a non-title match. So Team Uppercats has fulfilled that criteria. There's no reason now to believe that they don't deserve a title match. So there we go. Get a 2015 Hall of Fame video for our next inductee, and it turns out to be Rikishi. I approve of this. I think it's a pretty cool choice. Had a fun career, and it's cool to see him get inducted. Ash, do you have anything you want to say about this?
No, I mean, I like that they're bringing Rikishi in for it. I don't know if... I feel like I think that I'm just going to kind of be a little bit annoyed every time the WWE inducts somebody into the Hall of Fame not named Conor the Crusher, because that's just such a perfect thing for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I even told you there's a change.org petition going around to see that very thing happen. Yeah. I don't think it has much momentum, though. I just know I came across it on the internet one time. So, hey, maybe they'll do it, though. Who knows? But we go from that to Sin Cara versus Damien Mizdow. I mean, they're still playing up the story. Mizdow tries to do the Miz mannerisms, but of course Miz stops him because you're not my stunt double anymore. And so we do all that. The commentary actually knows that Sin Cara has been on kind of a mini roll as of late, and it's cool seeing him get this TV time. I will say that much, even if it's in stuff like this, because Hunico is amazing. But we see Miz at ringside, and he's kind of watching the match. And anytime it seems like Mizdow is gaining momentum, he always gets on the microphone and says, "Oh, Mizdow, can you bring me some water? I'm thirsty." And he does. And he says, "Oh, Mizdow, can you take the cap off?" And then he does. And I really thought here, that's the curious thing. When is Mizdow going to explode? Because I thought he was going to throw the water in Miz's face, and he was just going to throw the match out with Sin Cara just to get his hands on the Miz. But that didn't happen. Then, continuing with the action, Sin Cara is, kind of doing springboard cross bodies, this and that. It seems like the tide is turning. But then Mizdow gets control back. He gets the back and neck breaker, and he's about to go for the figure four. And then Miz yells at him to stop it. And he says, "Hey, I made that move famous, and get your own moves." And, off the distraction, Sin Cara gets a pinning combination, and he gets the win. Mizdow, of course, looks upset, but nothing happens as Miz still kind of lays into him. So we have to wait another week for Mizdow to, redeem himself and just attack the Miz and say, "Screw you, I'm on my own now." So, any comments you want to make, Ashton?
I'm just looking forward to Mizdow finally turning. I will say, I got to give Miz props because he's been phenomenal at being hateable in recent weeks.
Definitely. In fact, you reminded me actually of one notable point. It said, "You're from Cleveland." The crowd was chanting at him, "You're from Cleveland," I guess because they were tired of him running his mouth. And then Miz responded, "Better than Columbus," and that got a nice boo from the crowd.
Yeah. And another one, or I guess I shouldn't say that. I should just say, I think they were chanting that at him because he's Bill from Hollywood.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, I mean, classic heel 101 stuff from Miz. He is probably the most well done classic sort of chicken shit heel character on the roster right now.
Definitely. I mean, you and I have been saying for the longest time now that this gimmick he came back with all those months ago, it just fits so well. I think finally he's found his place. And, it's moments like this that really pay dividends with that. because I thought this was classic work. So good stuff. And hopefully, Mizdow can really capitalize on this, and he can be, a nice mid-card babyface. I mean, who knows where he'll go after this.
Yep.
But then we get our promo from Bray Wyatt backstage. He says, that the question has always been, what happens to us after you die? If you're a man of science, you believe you become a part of nature. If you, I think he said, if you're a man of God or something like that, you believe that there's either a heaven or a hell. But people like us, we're special because we don't die. We live forever. And this world is our hell. And then he goes on to say, he does not, I do not fear you anymore. And I guess directly referencing The Undertaker. And then he pleads yet again, find me. Find me! And then does its cut. So we know, again, Bray Wyatt is on the fast track to face The Undertaker. It feels so great to be interested in Bray Wyatt again. He's gotten his momentum back. He's been looking really strong. So I'm looking forward to their WrestleMania matchup. And
well, not only that, but the Bray Wyatt protection program is in full effect, brother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So curious to see how this all plays out. But then we get a Dean Ambrose sighting. He's walking backstage because he has a match next against Curtis Axel. Before the match actually gets underway, Curtis Axel cuts another promo about how he was screwed at Royal Rumble, and he says, keep the movement going. Axel Mania! Axel Mania! And he must have said it like 3 or 4 more times until.
So this was more important than an NXT match.
Clearly, yeah.
I mean, Curtis Axel's on NXT now. You could have had him involved. It could have been him versus Hideo Itami for all I care.
Actually, yeah, you didn't really have to change much except the opposition. But then again, it's kind of weird not having Dean Ambrose on a program, which is why you shouldn't have had Seth Rollins versus Ryback if Seth Rollins is already going to be. See, so many things wrong. So many things wrong.
Oh, my goodness.
But Dean Ambrose, of course, picks up the win after Dirty Deeds. And then after that, he cuts a promo on Barrett saying, I deserve an Intercontinental Championship match. I beat you in a title match. I'm not going to stop until I get my match, and I get this mug on the Wall of Champions at WWE headquarters. Still one of the weirdest pieces of inspiration I've heard to win a title match.
Yeah.
But, after that.
You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because there's literally no good reason for him to be going down to the Intercontinental title scene.
I know, brother. I know. And so much for that hatred for Seth Rollins, right? When it seems like he may be close to cashing in, Dean seems to have other priorities. I was thinking about that tonight, too. I'm like, Dean, I don't know if you want to brag by yourself with that. Seth seems dangerously close to that title. But after that, we get a breaking news update from BNZ, which, of course, you guys know I don't really care for right now. But he says, you won't be getting an Intercontinental Championship match because you don't deserve one. And, so yeah, we're just continuing to play that up. It's going to be interesting to see how Dean Ambrose gets Bad News Barrett to sign off on an Intercontinental Championship match, if that's even going to be up to him at all. I mean, you'd have to assume it is, because there's a heel power structure in place, but we'll have to see how Dean Ambrose gets around that. All right, after that, we finally get our main event.
Main event, nobody cares, match wasn't good, don't care.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Authority was really in control for most of this. Hell, at one point, much to my shock, Big Show even got a WMD on Roman Reigns, which left Daniel Bryan to fend for himself, but then the Cavalry came, Ryback's music hit, he came out with Eric Rowan, and surprisingly Dolph Ziggler. I thought he was going to sell Bray's beating for the rest of the night, but he was out there as well. They disposed of the Authority until J&J security were left. Daniel Bryan did his chest kicks, alternating chest kicks to both guys, kicks Jamie Noble in the head. Seems like he's preparing for the knee. I want to say, I think also to Noble. But then, and I got to admit, I popped for this and I laughed. Roman Reigns comes up the apron, steals the tag, does the spear, and gets the pin. I love it so much. As his music plays, Daniel Bryan's miffed because he's like, the hell, dude, I did all the work. It's like 2 college guys partnering up on this dissertation, and the one guy's just like, just put my name on it. And Bryan's like, you will not turn your back on me, because Reigns is going to leave. He's like, I did all that work. And Reigns is like, yeah, you did all that work. He's like, yeah, I did all that work. He shoves Reigns. Reigns goes off the ropes, and Reigns spears Bryan. That's what I think of you doing all the work. So, yeah. Good stuff here from Roman Reigns. I love it. Crowd didn't really seem to like. I guess the portion that really loves Daniel Bryan really raining down with the boos.
There were still yes chants though, mostly in the front row.
There were, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting. The crowd that Fastlane's in front of. Which, by the way, Ashton, do you know where Fastlane is this year, or
If
would
you
one
give
of
me
us?
a minute and a half of not dead air, I'll
Yeah,
find it.
absolutely, I will. So yeah, we see Reigns spearing Daniel Bryan. We see the Authority looking on. They're probably loving it because these two guys will destroy themselves, making it easier for Brock Lesnar to pick apart whoever the winner is, thus keeping their power intact. And of course, Seth Rollins is going to be licking his chops with the Money in the Bank, thinking, "Wow, these guys are just doing my job for me." And yeah, Reigns makes his exit, in firm control right now. We know this Thursday on SmackDown as well, was announced earlier in the night. These two guys are going to have a face-off, so I wouldn't be surprised if Daniel Bryan responded this Thursday with the knee plus to Reigns,
Yep.
and we've kind of leveled out for this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where this goes.
And for what it's worth, Fastlane is in Jerry Lawler country, Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, Memphis, Tennessee, that's really a crowd I have no opinion on, but still, it'll be very interesting to gauge the reaction.
They're going to be
matches.
Reigns fans.
You think so?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think people, again, that aren't in that hardcore sector may be looking at Reigns more favorably. So we'll have to see how that all goes. But yeah, this is how Raw concludes. So with that said,